So for anybody from ages 5, you're saying to what?
18. Up through high school.
They're the ones who should be attending this.
Yeah, and we'll have 70, 80, 90 kids there, and they will have the best workouts they've ever had.
And why have you had to take the time to put it onto a brochure? I mean, why did you have to do that as opposed to just you verbally telling other coaches what they're supposed to be doing?
Well, I didn't want to just wing it. We want everything to be professional. We want everything to be on time, just as hardworking, as crisp working as it can be. I don't like downtime. I don't like sloppiness. I want everything to be sharp.
Now, Dr. Z, you for those of you watching on Facebook Live, the man who left the box that rocks.
Yes, I left the box that rocks.
Took his headphones off, leaves, throws me into a mental conundrum. I'm going,
I know. I wish I could have watched you while I was doing my thing.
It's stressful.
And you went over here. What did you bring into the background on Facebook Live?
I'm telling you what. Some people go, "Oh, who are these guys? Are they real? Are they legit? Is this a real thing?" Number one,
Yep.
Number two. So that's why we have the box that rocks. You can see our studio. You can see our headquarters of Thrive Empire. Okay.
Yeah.
And just today, you were showing me how you whiteboarded a new policy and procedure that we're going to do for our in-person workshops.
Okay. Yeah.
And I rolled it up here so everybody on Facebook Live can see that we are putting, like to say, putting our money where our mouth is. We are implementing the things that we're telling you to do on this show. We're actually doing the things we're telling you the thing about the thing.
You know when I did this too, by the way? I did this between 3 a.m. and 9 a.m. because I needed to be able to think clearly without interruptions or distractions for about 6 hours.
Those things called humans that you don't want them messing with you.
Because people always come in and ask questions and they're like, are we getting off for Thanksgiving? Do we have to work on Wednesday?
Can I eat pie?
There's somebody who drank my coffee. And I'm trying to get this done. So Thrivers, if you're looking at this on Facebook Live, what we found out is there are, over the last really 3 years, I've always been successful as a business consultant since I sold a few of my businesses, coaching businesses.
You're listening to the Thrive Time Show on Talk Radio 1170.
And Z's always had a lot of success in his businesses. But what's happened is there's thousands of people who are wanting to come out to our workshops. And when you come out to a Thrive15.com workshop, I have 2 promises that I can make to you. One is every single person listening right now, you can afford it because we have a scholarship program in place. If you're struggling financially, both of us, you and I grew up financially challenged. We did not have a bunch of money. We started from nothing.
Correct.
So we've made it affordable. So if you call and you call for pricing, and if you can't afford it, we will make it work for you. I'm telling you, we're going to make you an offer that you can't refuse. So we do that. But the second thing is it's practical, detailed entrepreneurial training. And so we had to make a whiteboard to map out these sequential events, these step-by-step processes that we're going to be implementing during our workshops. Because if you come to Tulsa and you shadow me for a day, I do a workshop every hour on the hour. But if you come to a workshop here starting here soon, when we have these interactive workshops where people from all over the planet fly in, we have these people already booking tickets. It's a different thing. There's 50 people in the room now, not 5 people.
Yeah.
So it's a different thing. We had to build a workflow, Z. We had to do it.
And we did it on the whiteboard, and that's how you do it. You put it down because sometimes you think something, but when you put it down or you write it out, then you look at it and go, oh, wait, that can't work. I can't do that thing before this thing, so I got to flip those things. Yeah, oh, wait a second. And I got to add this thing because you can't go from this thing to that thing without a thing in the middle.
And I'm going to tell you one thing that I discovered by building this workflow.
Yeah.
After working with thousands of customers, thousands of coaching clients all over the world, I discovered that most entrepreneurs have one problem that has to be solved first, Z.
Yes.
Otherwise, everything else doesn't matter. And
right.
You know what that problem is?
No, tell me.
Sales.
Oh, yeah.
If you can't sell, your business will go to... It's not going to work.
Well, I looked at the schedule, and for those of you listening today, Thanksgiving, we're actually going to do the show, and we are having the steps to increasing your sales on Thanksgiving. So just a little teaser for Thursday coming up 2 days from now. So while you eat your pie, Chuck, by the way, make sure to bring us a pie that day. While you're eating your pie, it's going to be Thrive Time at Pie Time.
Thrive Time at Pie Time. Now step number three to keep your team from dropping the ball. You have to build a checklist for everything. Now, Coach, I will give you the floor to go off here. Try to keep your bathroom clean. Checklists, trying to get the teammates to keep the bathroom clean. Why is it so hard to keep people, to hold people accountable to implementing the checklists after you've actually made them?
Well, for one, as an owner, I have to be willing to challenge them and to confront them. A lot of people don't like that. tension that you have
Yeah.
with employees, and I've had to fire 2 or 3 people because they weren't doing the checklist. And you want to be a nice guy, and you want to care about them, and I really do. But there comes a point where enough's enough, and I've got checklists now for everything.
Z, are you excited about holding people accountable? Does it stress you out? I mean, when you have to hold someone accountable to implementing their checklists, I mean, does it wear you out? Do you jump into that? Are you afraid of it? How do you deal with it, my friend?
At first you did, but then after a while you learn to embrace it.
Oh,
and
yeah.
you know that every great farmer, every great rancher, every great vineyard owner knows that when you see that plant, if you go in there and you cut some of the limbs off, if you prune it.
You prune it.
It seems mean.
Yeah.
I mean, you're cutting living stuff off of it. But the next year, you have such an increase of your harvest that you go, you know what? That was the right thing to do.
Thrivers, stay tuned. Thrive Time Show.
You're listening to the Thrive Time Show on Talk Radio 1170.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to the Thrive Time Show during your drive time home, where we're going to give you more knowledge bombs per capita than you're going to find on any other business radio show. So, oh, wow, I got to get more bomb than I got to crank up my bomb a little bit there, Z. I got to get more. Here we go. There it is.
There, that's more bomb.
That's a knowledge bomb. My name is Clay Clark. I'm the former SBA Entrepreneur of the Year in your ear, and I'm joined here with Dr. Robert Zellner, a guy who really, see, you have more knowledge bombs per capita than almost any other man I've ever been around.
I know, that's why you creeped on me. I mean, that's before creeping was like acceptable. I mean, now with like, Bookface and MySpace, all those things you do.
Okay,
all those things you kids
let
use
me
these days.
explain this real fast. Now, if you think a lady's attractive and you're trying to, learn more about her, you're wanting to date her, you're trying to. So people go onto Facebook and they'll friend her, and people friend almost anybody now who, like, it's almost like if you share 10 acquaintances, almost anyone accepts the friend request on Facebook.
Yeah.
So now you're trolling out, you're looking at her family photos, and you're like, well, her mom seems like a nice lady, and she'll probably become like her mom. Maybe that's a move. That's the acceptable creepage that's now happening.
Yes.
But back in the day, before it was acceptable, Z, I was doing some serious creepage in your optometry clinic, and it was not socially acceptable.
Yeah. Well, your lovely wife worked there, and you would show up to pick her up. You would show up, and then finally you came earlier and earlier, and you'd be hanging around more and more, and you'd be kind of snooping around, and then you did the move. Hey, can we do lunch sometime? And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever, and then. Of course, then it was like, hey, remember we talked about doing that lunch? And then pretty soon you just kind of wore me down. You wore me down. Probably like you did Vanessa, your wife. That's how you got her.
That's how I got her. When you're a 2 like me and you score a 10 like her, you got to do the wear down method.
You got to do the wear down method. And then we did lunch, and then we started the little mentoring, and it's been fun. And I'll tell you what, it's been great having you in my life, and I'm just so proud of you and the successes you've had. And, now look at you. Now you're kind of a big deal.
Well, here's the deal, Thrivers. If you're listening right now and you want to build your business and take it to the next level, you've got to get detailed. You got to get specific. In the background on Facebook Live, you can see the makings of a very detailed workflow that we're building right now. And soon we're going to be turning this into a Photoshop document on Monday called a one sheet that will then be a usable document by our team. It'll be a laminated, usable document, and it starts off here. But, Coach, I want to ask you, over the years as you've grown Score Basketball, talk to me about a checklist that you've implemented that really has helped you and taken some of the stress out of your brain.
Probably a good one is with the receptionist. I used to stress over what I wasn't getting done or what I might forget.
Yep.
And since I've done my checklist, I don't worry about that kind of thing anymore. With our receptionist, for instance, she's much more than a receptionist. She checks the mail. She makes sure all the phone calls she makes is done. She makes sure the scheduling is up to date. Who's showing up, who hasn't paid. She's got a big, huge checklist that she gets done every night.
And you literally will have hundreds of people for the Christmas camp you have every year signing up.
Yes.
And she has to answer the phone.
And it gets very complicated if you don't have somebody that's there taking care of every little thing.
For anyone who's listening right now and they say, look, my kid, his skills in basketball need to be improved. My daughter's got a weak left hand. My son can't get to the hoop quick enough. He can't shoot off the dribble. He doesn't do well with the jump shot. We need help with the different basketball ball handling skills. How can they find out more about you, and how can they get into this legendary Christmas basketball camp?
Well, you can go to scoreball.com. Easy to find, and All your questions will be answered on there. You can call that number, which is 918-955-7160, and you can find all about the camp.
Now, Thrivers, Coach Calvert will never oversell himself. He's probably one of America's most humble humans. I will tell you this, though. I know of dozens and dozens of kids out there throughout Tulsa who went to scoreball.com. They went on the website and they discovered, wow, this guy has coached countless players who've gone on to play Division I sports. And by the way, that's not normal. And the players come back and say, the training I received at Score Basketball is what allowed me to play at the next level. It allowed me to practice and get my skills to that next level. And I'm just telling you, scoreball.com, it'll change the skill development of your players significantly. You don't want to miss out on the Christmas camp. Check it out. Now, step number 4, fix your connection points by focusing on execution, not motivation. Z, this is something I'm gonna give you a notable quotable, and I'm expecting you to unleash a cannon of knowledge. Here we go. 2 notable quotables. 1. This comes from Harvard, okay? This comes from James Heskett with the Service Profit Chain book from Harvard Business School. He says, being nice to people is just 20% of providing good customer service. The important part is designing systems that allow you to do the job right the first time. All the smiles in the world aren't going to help you if your product or service is not what the customer wants. Z, why do you have to get serious about making checklists and quit having motivational meetings with your staff? Eventually, you've just got to focus on them getting stuff done. Why?
Well, because you want to get stuff done. You want to provide the service or the thing that makes you the money. You see, that's what we're all about here. And if you don't do it right, then you have to deal with the consequences of that. And that is, well, Clay, I read something the other day that really troubled me.
Okay.
And guess what percentage of businesses start and then they fail?
Well, startups, I believe, according to Forbes, this just in, 9 out of 10 startups are going to fail, according to Forbes, I believe.
Yeah. It was the one I read was 80%.
That's not good. That's 8.
That's 8. I wouldn't call you a liar for 1, by the way. So, but
not so good.
And that's our goal on this show, is to say, hey, listen, folks, we know you have a passion, just like Coach here had a passion for basketball. And he said it beautifully in the segment before this. He said, you know what? I was really good at teaching basketball. I wasn't good at running a business. And we're here to be your business coach. You tune into the Thrive Time Show.
Yeah.
You sign up on Thrive15.com, and guess what? We're going to help coach you up.
It just works. And I'm going to tell you this, Thrivers. This is another notable quotable for you. This is from Atul Gawande. He says, the volume and complexity of what we know has exceeded our individual ability to deliver its benefits correctly. He's got more to say. And Thrivers, if you want to make this Thanksgiving, or potentially the best Thanksgiving of your life because you're so thankful about these new systems that you've learned to start and grow a business, you want to stay tuned. Thrive Time Show on your drive time home. Super Tuesday.
You're listening to the Thrive Time Show on Talk Radio 1170.
All right, Thrive Nation, welcome back to your inspiration station. It's the Thrive Time Show during your drive time home. My name is Clay Clark. I'm the former SBA Entrepreneur of the Year, and you are listening to Tulsa's only local business radio show. It's the Thrive Time Show. It's business school without the BS. And yes, you are in for a treat. You are joined here with Dr. Robert Zoellner. Dr. Z, how are you, sir?
I am fantastic on this Tuesday. The only problem is it's like Wednesday. We don't have 2 hours. We only have 1 hour.
We got to go 90 miles an hour.
We got to pack a lot of stuff into 1 hour.
We got to just squeeze it in there. And we brought in a guy who's a very successful Tulsa entrepreneur. Coach Calvert is on the program today. We got a lot to get into, but I want to recap what we already went over before we get into the next steps. So we're talking about the 6 steps to mastering the high art of management follow-up. Basically, it's how do you get your people on your team to do what they're supposed to do. Step number 1, you got to embrace that quality and quantity are not enemies. A lot of people on your team are saying, well, we don't want to grow any bigger because it's hard for us to remember to clean the bathrooms. That's dumb. Okay, step number 2, turn your entire system into a visual workflow. If you're watching on Facebook Live right now, you can see the visual workflow. It is a specific linear step-by-step system. You got to put it on a whiteboard. It's time-consuming. I did it this week for our Thrive 15 conferences. People are coming out for workshops. Hundreds of people are coming out, and we need to make a process for it because otherwise it's going to get awkward when many people come here and there's not enough seating capacity. Yeah. No, seriously, we have more seating capacity we're putting in, more lighting, Z. We're doing a lot of changes to make it to accommodate all the new people.
Yep.
Step number 3, you got to build a checklist for everything. You have to build a checklist for everything. For someone who needs to hear it again, you need to build a checklist for everything. Step number 4, fix your connection points by focusing on execution, not motivation. Connection points are where Billy is supposed to do step 1 and Bobby is supposed